is another penguin story. So let's get started. Once upon a time, there was a penguin, and a lonely penguin who loved being in the snow. He saw other birds, but they weren't as beautiful as him. He was a penguin. He loved playing in the snow and doing everything he loved. But the one thing is, he couldn't fly. Every single time he looked up in like these gorgeous gems that he found on a tree, and he couldn't get them. He always wanted one of these, but he can't get any. All he got was a stick from a bush, and that couldn't help him because he was meant for the cold, but he also needed food. There was nothing to be seen. He was starting to get starving. He was crying and crying. He even fainted because he was so hungry. But then something came up to him. A raven came up and said, "Are you okay?" He decided to pick the penguin up on his back and decide to take care of him. The raven was so nice, but sad thing is that they're not the same, so he doesn't know what the penguin eats or do anything, so he doesn't know what to do. But he put him in a cave that he saw on the way here. He built a nest just for the penguin, dropped him, and was going to find food for him. He did find food for him, but it wasn't enough. He found fish, but he couldn't pick it up because it was in the water. But he still gave it to he finally found some fish and gave it to the penguin. He gave it to the penguin, and the raven felt so kind, but he couldn't stay for long. Otherwise, the penguin would get scared of him. The raven loved the penguin, and he couldn't really do anything, so he said goodbye, and he was never seen again. He flew off into the sky and was never seen again. But legends say that the raven is always watching in his little cave. But that's just a lot. One time the penguin woke up and saw some fish. He ate the fish and ate. He felt a lot better. He did wonder who gave this to him. He did wonder. He was in a warm cave, but he went back outside once he was ready to go outside. And he was so ready for the outside world. But still, he couldn't fly. He couldn't still get the gems that he wanted. His hunger is gone, but all he wanted was that gem. All he wanted was that gem. That's all he wanted. He didn't want anything else. He just wanted that gem. Then one day, and that one time, a raven came up to him and said, You want that and you want to fly?" And the penguin said, "Yes. Let me pick you up then." And she said, "Okay." And then it just flew off. The raven was making pretend the penguin was flying because the penguin couldn't fly, and he just wants to help. The penguin couldn't live in the icicle anymore. So he brought him to this place that he found as an igloo, and he decided to leave the penguin here only because it's warm and it's cozy. And the raven would always come back with food for him, but he always went off searching for more food for the penguin. The raven took so good care of him that the penguin even grew up. The penguin even grew up into a much bigger penguin, and it was so nice. But once he was grown up, the raven never came back. The penguin was really confused. He didn't know what to expect, and he didn't know what to do because the raven never came back. But now he could skate across the ice, but at the same time, where's the raven? There was food by the fire. It was so nice. But at the same time, he never came back. She was so sad. The raven got so old that he could not fly anymore. One time he visited the penguin, and the penguin said, "Oh my God, what happened?" The raven got way too old to be able to move, so the penguin picked him up in his beak and wandered around. Since he couldn't walk, he couldn't do anything because he was so old, and when you're old you couldn't really move very well. So he skated across the ice, helped the raven try to feel better, but it just didn't work. It made the raven feel worse. The reason why the raven got too old and sick is because that's not the island he's supposed to be in. His island is the jungle, and he's not in the jungle. So this was very hard for the penguin. He had to go somewhere else to find. He had to go somewhere else where he's not supposed to be able to save the raven. But the first things first, the penguin decided to make a nest so he knew which tunnel was his. It was really thoughtful, but at the same time, letting go with a friend for years is not very good. The penguin's gonna miss the jungle. They finally made it to the jungle, and the raven felt so much better. But he was old. He could still fly, but the penguin said goodbye to the raven. The raven was so sad that the penguin is gonna leave him because they just spend time together. Anyway, the raven said goodbye and just flew away into the sky. The penguin was so sad, but it's for his health, I guess. She finally made it back to the ice mountain and was missing the raven so bad. But it was his choice. I mean, this is where penguins live, and this is where loads of people live. So well guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash that like button in the face, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye!